Today, in the midst of this amazing sunset here in Miami, you guys probably think this is like a green screen or something, but this is really the view that I get to wake up to and go to sleep with every single night. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to scale an SMMA and the difference between horizontal and vertical scaling, because it's something that not a lot of people really understand, and not a lot of people really understand the differentiation in what makes horizontal scaling, in my opinion, so much better than vertical scaling. So to start off with, obviously, we're talking about scaling. Scaling is the process of increasing how much money you're making in your SMMA. And so then there comes the process of either horizontally or vertically scaling. Vertical scaling, being the process by which you acquire more clients. You're actually increasing the number of clients that you work with. And horizontal scaling being making more money from your existing clients. So not necessarily expanding how many clients you have, but making more money from the clients that you already do have. And so in my opinion, I can break down super simply why I think horizontal scaling is better. And it's just honestly the amount of work and the attention to the amount of work that you would have to be doing. So in this case, I think it's a lot easier to go out and to make, let's say, $10,000 a month working with 10 different clients than it is to make $20,000 a month working with 100 different clients. Because in the case of 10 clients, it's so much more manageable. You have less overhead costs, just less of a headache in general having to deal with as many clients. And it's just a much more manageable operation. If you're making $20,000 a month, but you have to work with 100 different clients, then you're going to have to hire out a lot more employees. You're going to have to just do a lot more heavy lifting on your end. And it's just going to be more burdensome in general if you have to communicate with 100 different people versus 10 different people. So yeah, in one case, you might be making more money even after the cost of fulfillment, but it's just more of a headache. It's more burdensome. It's not really something you want to deal with in general. So then comes the process of scaling. When you're actually building out your SMMA, you've gotten to a point where your fulfillment is at a point where it's going. You don't have to worry about your clients dropping off. Your retention rates are high and your fulfillment backend system is solid. Then you know it's time to scale because you can handle more clients. You can handle that new influx of traffic that inevitably is going to be coming as you work to scale and you work to acquire more qualified leads and actually build up your company. So then, in my opinion, comes the horizontal scaling first and foremost. Because why would you ever go out to acquire more clients if you can just make more money from your existing clients first? So in this case, let's say you have, at this point, 5 clients in your business. 5 clients, you can assume maybe you're making around $10,000 a month in net revenue. And at this point in time, maybe you have 1 or 2 people working under you, just kind of doing some type of part-time fulfillment work. Then comes the process of scaling. You want to look into whatever industry you're in. Let's say you're working with sports bettors and you're offering them some type of content strategy. And let's say your content strategy is working well with all of the 5 clients you're working with, and you're only working with one type of client at this point in time. You want to think to yourself, what else could I offer to this client that's going to benefit them, that's going to make them more money, or just increase their exposure on social media in general to the point that it would in turn help their business? So something that I can think of off the top of my head is automation marketing. It's what I do for all of my clients existing, and it's just a super easy upsell to whatever you're doing. So let's say you're doing content for them. You're giving them content suggestions for basically how to run their entire personal brand. Then you could come at them and you could say, well, hey, you're killing it right now with content. You're only spending $2,000 a month with me. If you want to spend an extra $1,000 a month, we will take these videos that we're already showing you how to make and we'll blast them across 5 more Instagram accounts and we'll post them 2 to 3 times a day and basically just repurpose your existing content to bring you more exposure. And then we'll drive all of that traffic to the link in your bio, so you're just receiving more traffic towards your existing funnel. So you don't have to do any extra work, and you're only spending an extra $1,000 a month, and your content's being blasted against 5 new Instagram accounts. So you see how in this example, your cost of fulfillment or your actual ability to run this hasn't changed much. You're still working with the same client. It maintains just communication with that single client. And you don't have too much extra work. You can outsource this to some part-time guy who's going to do it for a couple $100s a month. But in this case, you've just brought on an extra $1,000 in revenue. Now, if you were to go out and you were to go find another client, maybe you'd be able to bring in a couple extra $1,000 of revenue. But then again, you have to communicate with another client now. You've added a whole new layer of fulfillment to your agency. So while you may have brought up your revenue, you've also brought up your headache, your tasks, your ultimate fulfillment that you just have to work on now. So I don't want to discourage you guys from going out and acquiring new clients. I would just like to encourage that you go and you look inwards first and you look at your existing clients. You look at what else you could be making money off of with them. Because at the end of the day, you're already working with these guys. You already have their trust. How hard would it really be to reach out to them and just offer them an additional upsell? And who knows, if it doesn't work out or it's not working amazingly within the first month, then maybe you downgrade back to what you were originally doing with them and maybe you just stick with the original plan. But to be able to upsell them and build more revenue out of your existing clients is ultimately going to be the easiest way to scale your business 100% of the time. And like I said, I'm not trying to discourage you from scaling in other ways as well. I think it's amazing to go out and replicate your system across more clients, especially if you have a proven system that works. And once you have case studies, once you have testimonials, it'll be a no-brainer to go out and do that, especially with the proper infrastructure. If you have your employees in place, you have an amazing system, yeah, it makes sense to go out and scale through that way. But like I said, it always just makes more sense to scale horizontally first. And so then I want to get into my final point here, which is just that it really only makes sense to scale once your infrastructure is perfect. You really don't want to ever focus on scaling unless you know that your fulfillment and that your retention with your existing clients is absolutely bulletproof. Because if you're scaling when that's not in place and when that's not perfect, you're really just scaling against yourself. While you're losing your existing clients, you're gaining new clients. And so it just kind of balances out. You're not making more money. At the end of the day, you're just kind of maintaining whatever position you already have. And personally, I would much rather work with the same people and know that I'm providing a good service and have happy clients than to be constantly working with new people because I can't retain my existing clients. So I really want to leave you guys with that. At the end of the day, you only should scale when it's the right time for your business. These marketing agencies, at the end of the day, they're not going to be sustainable if you're not building them in the right way. And I'm highly encouraging that you go about it in the right way because at the end of the day, your results will be so much better. Your clients will be happier and you'll be building something that could actually free you financially and just as far as your life for the rest of your life. These marketing agencies aren't going anywhere. And if you build a good agency, you scale properly and you take care of your clients, you could be making money for 10, 20, 30 years to come easily. So without further ado, guys, I want you guys to have an amazing rest of your day, amazing rest of your evening, wherever you are. As you can see, it's about to be evening here. It's turning into this nighttime, and I got to end the day with this beautiful view. So I'd love if you could leave a subscribe down below, like the video, leave a comment if you have any questions. And like always, I do offer coaching as well. If you are learning to build out your own SMMA and you want to fast track the process, I can fully build out an agency for you, bring you clients, and guarantee that you will receive at least 3 clients through my coaching process. My coaching program is 90 days long and it's super intensive, super hands-on, and I help you through the entire process of building up your agency, client acquisition, fulfillment, and inevitably scaling as well. So without further ado, guys, have an amazing rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the next video.